Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. It's the Empress, and in today's video, we are looking at messages from our shadow in order to heal, in order to ascend and gain clarity and peace within ourselves. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. Out in front of us, here we have 3 different tarot decks to choose from. I'm going to ask you guys to take a couple of deep breaths, really try to ground yourself, connect to your intuition, connect to your guides, connect to your higher self and your shadow, and ask which one of these tarot decks out in front of you is holding the messages that you need to hear in regards to your shadow, what your shadow wants you to know at this point in time, what it's trying to communicate, how to heal, any guidance or advice that spirit has or that your shadow has for you at this time. Once you have all of that very solidified and clarified within you, go ahead and choose a pile, and I will have the timestamps to the beginning of each specific reading in the description box below, along with the links to the cards that I'm using for anybody who's interested in that or feels called to any of the decks that I use here today. I will also have a link to my Etsy store for anyone who's interested in checking that out or purchasing a personalized reading. So out in front of you, here we have tarot deck number 1, 2, and 3. And go ahead and pause the video if you still need a moment, and I'm going to go ahead and move on to pile number 1. Hello, beautiful group number 1. Those of you that chose the Tarot Nefertari with the Jasper point, this reading is for you, and this is red Jasper here. There is a strong energy of Isis here, so some of you guys, that may be an energy that you are working with or that you are coming into contact with. As well as for this particular group, I am feeling a strong sense of the masculine energy. So some of you guys, this reading may be bringing forth where you need to kind of bring the attention to your masculine energy. There's something here about needing to really heal and become more aware of the masculine energy for my group number 1. So let's go ahead here, you guys, and get into your reading. And starting off, we are going to be looking at the kind of messages from your shadow, what your shadow wants you to know, where your shadow wants you to look at this point in time. We are going to start with the tarot, and then we will pull some oracle cards as well. So group number 1, what messages does your shadow have for you at this time? And for those of you who are maybe a little curious about what the shadow is or what that actually means, your shadow is just the parts of yourself that remain hidden or that you aren't aware of, that are very unconscious, or the parts of yourself that you don't see clearly. It may even kind of involve parts of yourself that you don't see the truth in. So you may be seeing a reflection of yourself or a version of yourself and perceiving it as your truth or your authentic self, when in reality it isn't. It's a projection of yourself that that you've used as like a coping mechanism or a kind of a mask for a period of time, to where you now identify with that and you aren't aware of what it's covering up. So yeah, that kind of energy, that's where this reading is coming from. This reading is coming from the parts of yourself that you aren't consciously aware of. Okay, so let's get into this. Group number 1, messages from your shadow. All right, we have the 2 of Wands coming out here. So there's hesitancy coming in here for group number 1. You guys may be hesitating in taking action, especially if your divine masculine energy is in need of healing. You may have a lot of hesitation, inability to take action, a lot of stagnancy, a lot of holding yourself back. We also have here the King of Wands coming out. Some more masculine energy showing up here for you guys. The King of Wands is telling me that you guys may cover up a lot of yourself with either anger or intimidation. There's something here. You guys may be intimidated by taking a particular action, or you may intimidate other people. You may have that kind of personality where others are just intimidated by you without even really knowing why, or for no really good reason. And I feel for you guys here that this has a lot to do with your masculine energy and just the energy that you radiate. But your masculine energy is definitely coming forth here to be healed. This is about the actions that you're taking or not taking, group number one. Then we have the Five of Swords. Yeah, these are the actions that you talk yourself out of. Group number one, there is a need to become aware of the thoughts that you are thinking, a need to become aware of the kind of inner dialogue that's telling you that you can't or that you shouldn't do certain things. I'm really feeling this, group number one, that this has a lot to do with something that you get very excited about, or that really kind of pulls on your passion strings, or that you really desire to do, but then you immediately talk yourself out of it or tell yourself that it's not good enough or that you aren't worthy. Next here we have Justice. Okay. Yeah, so there's balance that is needed here for group number one. Definitely a huge sense of balance needed here. There is a sense of reflection as well. So for those of you that are looking for your shadow, or looking for these shadow energies that are presenting themselves, there is a need to be aware of the way that you connect to other people, and a need to be aware of the things that you see in other people that maybe trigger you or bother you or cause you to become angry or in conflict with them. And there's a need to see how you are kind of covering up that energy within you by placing the blame on somebody else. That message may not be for everybody in this pile, but that energy is definitely here, where you aren't consciously aware of the parts of yourself that are being reflected to you. So you see it as something outside of you. You're seeing this anger, this conflict, or whatever this is for you, as something outside of you, or something that somebody is doing to you or around you. There's something here, group number one, where you're seeing somebody else do something that you don't like. You're seeing somebody else do something that triggers you, that causes you to become angry or annoyed or frustrated, and really just directing all of this kind of negative energy towards that person or situation without recognizing how that situation or that person is reflecting you or showing you the parts of yourself that you are unaware of in some way, shape, or form. Now, this doesn't say like if somebody is being abusive or angry or aggressive towards you. This isn't to say that you are abusive or aggressive, okay? This is saying that you hold the same energy within you that causes that person to be that way, which it could be very much so like an unbalanced divine masculine energy within you. This could occur for different reasons, but it's just reflecting to you the masculine energy that is irritated within you, okay? I really feel, group number one, that there is like an irritated, aggravated, frustrated masculine energy here, whether this is somebody outside of you or your own masculine energy. We have the Two of Swords here, and this is telling me that, again, there's a huge reflection energy here. As well as for some of you guys, there may need to be some sort of almost like truce energy, where you either a truce with yourself, a moment of peace. There needs to be a moment of peace, whether this is with somebody else. Some of you guys may really be fighting or angry or in conflict with somebody outside of you right now. And if that's the case for you, there needs to be some sort of moment of peace, a moment of truce, in order for you guys to get on the same level, on the same page, and see eye to eye. There needs to be a conversation. There needs to be communication here, whether this is in yourself or in regards to like that internal dialogue, or in regards to somebody outside of you. This is really what I'm being shown. For some of you guys, it's both. It's you guys may really play out certain conversations in your head over and over again, trying to have conversations with people that you are in conflict with, but having them in your head, and kind of creating this whole story around what you believe they would do or say, or how they would react if you were to say certain things, and it causes you to believe that as reality or as truth. And group number one, there's something here where you are being asked to have this conversation or to communicate this without that internal dialogue, or without that preconceived notion of how it's going to play out. Okay, interesting. And then we have the Knave of Chalices here. So there, yeah, okay. So there is a huge need to become aware of the emotions that are triggering your actions, or that are the emotions that are triggered by other people's actions, and to really become aware of what they are causing you to do or think or say. Group number one, this is really the messages that your shadow wants to bring forth right now, and what your shadow really wants you to become aware of. The part of your shadow that really wants to be seen at this point in time is the part of your shadow that causes you to create certain conflicts or certain conversations within yourself, and then live by those as if they have actually happened. Okay. um, and this just isn't something that you just do or something out of the ordinary. We all have an internal dialogue, and we all go through phases or cycles within our life where we believe that we know how other people see us, or we believe that we know how other people would act or what they would say if we did certain things or took certain actions, when in reality we don't know. We don't know how other people are going to react. We don't know how other people are going to perceive us, but we have this kind of idea within us that we need to control how other people see us, or that we need other people to see us in a specific way, or we need other people to see us the same way that we see ourselves. And this isn't the case, group number one. This is never the case. We can't really control how other people see us, even if we're trying to take certain actions so they see us in a certain light, or say certain things so that they believe certain ideas about us. We still aren't ever going to be able to control or really fine tune the way other people see us, because those images and those perceptions come from their own life that they have already lived, in their own experiences, in their own cycles, in their own relationships that they've been through, all play a role in how they see you now in their present moment. Okay. So there is this need to detach from the need to control how other people see you, or the need to some of you guys, this could be in regards to like needing validation, needing approval as well. But really getting very clear within yourself about the emotions that cause you to kind of go into this conflict dialogue, or really being aware of the emotions that are triggered when other people outside of you do certain things, and then recognize that the things that they're doing that are causing you to become angry or aggravated or frustrated, the things that they are doing are coming from the same emotions that you are feeling that are causing you to be angry and annoyed and frustrated. And I really feel like your shadow is kind of communicating to you through this reflective way at this time in your life, group number one. So let's go ahead here and take a look at the energy of your shadow that's coming forth here for you guys. We have artist. Okay, and the light attributes of this is expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the five senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically. And the shadow attributes of the artist archetype is using talent as an excuse to mistreat others, posing as the starving artist to explicit pity. Yeah, so there's definitely something here where you guys are feeling like you need approval, and that you guys are taking certain actions or not taking certain actions due to this need for approval. So there's really a need to kind of address this for group number one, really a need to kind of dive into where you feel like you need this approval, or why you feel like you need this approval, group number one. So let's go ahead and pull a couple more tarot cards here just to kind of clarify this a little bit, and then we will pull some more oracle messages for group number one. We have the Knight of Chalices. Okay, so I'm really feeling for you guys that there needs to be some sort of emotional expression instead of covering up your emotions with certain words or certain ways of communicating. I feel like you guys may be kind of the people who get angry when you feel emotions that you don't want to feel, or you may lash out at other people as a way to cover up the fact that you do feel a certain way. There's a huge fear of being vulnerable here, group number one, which is kind of a catch-22, especially if you are this kind of artist soul, or you are an artist, or you do have a job or a way of life where you live in a creative way, because that almost causes you to have to be vulnerable in order to express this art in any way, shape, or form. You have to be open, you have to be vulnerable, you have to express yourself. And I feel like group number one, you guys really have a hard time expressing yourself. So let's pull one more clarifier here for you guys. So there needs to be movement in the emotional body, allowing your emotions, allowing your expressions to be communicated here. I feel like you guys may use your masculine energy to really hold back your feminine energy or your emotions or your internal senses. Not allowing yourself to feel certain things, or really trying to control the way you do feel certain things, or the way that you do see certain things, which causes you to in turn try to control the way other people see you. Interesting. Wow. Yeah. And then we have the Hanged Man coming out here. Yeah. So it's almost like you guys are at this kind of crossroads point here, where you are very still, stagnant, not knowing how to move forward. And the reason why you can't move forward is because your masculine energy isn't allowing your feminine energy out. And this is what is needed for the next step, or the next kind of phase, or the next cycle in your life here, is to allow yourself to be vulnerable, to allow yourself to express who you are through the things that you do and the things that you say. Okay, so there is like a sense of a wall, or this sense of rigidity that really needs to be worked with for you guys that chose group number one. Let's go ahead here and pull some more cards for you guys and go a little deeper into what messages your shadow has for you. Why is this message coming forth for group number one? Why is this message from the shadow coming forth for group number one? We have pregnancy and birth. Yeah, so there's something that's really trying to be created here for group number one, but it needs the feminine energy to be able to come out. It needs the feminine energy in order to be nourished and nurtured. We also have here the Great Pyramid Mystery and Ceremony. Yeah, so you guys are really your shadow really wants you to recognize, to see how you suppress yourself with your own masculine energy, and really wants you to see why do you suppress yourself with your own masculine energy. What is it that you are scared to feel or see here, group number one? Let's go ahead and pull you guys a couple last messages here. Guidance and advice for group number one. What guidance and advice does your shadow have for you, group number one? Wow, we have the smoky mirror. Yeah, so you guys really aren't seeing a lot of how you are attached to certain ways of being, or how you're attached to certain belief systems or certain ideas that you have kind of convinced yourself of by having this internal dialogue and telling yourself over and over again that people are going to react a certain way if you do this, or people are going to do certain things or see you a certain way, or potentially that people are going to walk away from you or disapprove of you if you do certain things. Like, you guys are really attached to this mentality, really attached to this idea, or this need to control the way people see you, or need to like control the approval or the validation that you get. And I really feel for you guys that there is a huge need to dive into why it is that you feel like you need other people's validation in order to express yourself. So there is a message here that there's a need to express yourself and be vulnerable. And as you do that, the people who do resonate with that energy and align with that energy will show up for you. So there's a need to not be so resistant to change as well. Some of you guys, you may be scared of losing certain people or situations or environments around you if you showed who you really are. And if you can't express who you really are, then that isn't where you need to be anyways, group number one. Okay. And we also have here the Luminous Warrior. Okay, group number one, I feel like you guys are meant to be some sort of light worker or some sort of healer. Maybe even healing the shadow, or helping other people heal their shadow in some way, shape, or form in your future, which is a part of why I feel like this is quite intense for you guys. Like, this need to learn and heal and see yourself for who you truly are. Like, this message seems very significant, and I feel for a lot of you guys that this and aligning your masculine and feminine energy has a lot to do with aligning you to your purpose and to the people that you're meant to help. Um, So, those of you that chose pile number one, you may be tarot readers or mystics of some sort, or spiritual beings, very spiritual lifestyle, things like this. And you guys, those of you that that resonates with, like, you are entering a cycle of the shadow, of healing the shadow, ascending the shadow, awakening the shadow. For you to step deeper into your path and deeper into your purpose. So, for any of you here that have really felt like you've been stuck or not able to move forward, your shadow wants you to know that the reason why you haven't been able to move is because you are holding yourself back. So, a need to get out of your own way, to allow your masculine and feminine energy to align with each other instead of fighting against each other, because that's really what I feel happening here for group number one, is that your masculine and feminine energy are fighting with each other. Trying to suppress your feminine energy, not allowing yourself to nurture yourself or others, or to nourish yourself or others, and really holding yourself back from actions that you feel you should be taking, or from things that you feel like you should be nurturing. Um, Out of fear of disapproval, really, is what I'm feeling here for you guys. But let's go ahead and pull you one final message from your shadow here. One final message for group number one. Oh, look at this. We have be impeccable with your word and express your love. Express your love, group number one. And the message on this card here says impeccability of the word can be measured by your level of self-love. If you love yourself, you will express that love in your interactions with others, and that action will produce a like reaction. Yes, 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 group number one. This is so perfect. Really getting in tune with being able to love yourself instead of fighting loving yourself because you need approval from other people in order to feel like you're able to do that. I feel like you guys really seek that approval or validation from other people before you give yourself any attention. It's like you have made yourself believe that you're not worthy of your own love or of self-love, because other people have to give you that, or other people have to give you permission to love yourself in some way, shape, or form. So really working with that energy, group number one, I feel will be very, very beneficial for you. But this is what I am seeing for my beautiful group number one. If you enjoyed this reading, if it brought you value, if it resonated with you, please hit that like button. Comment down below. Let me know how it resonated. Let me know what other kinds of videos you guys would like to see. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss out when I post future videos like this. I thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Hello, my beautiful group number two. Those of you that chose the Antique Anatomy Tarot with the Obsidian, this reading is for you, and we are looking at messages from your shadow. And starting off here for you guys, as I was shuffling the cards to come into your reading, I got a very specific statement, really, and what that was, why would you take that away? So this could mean a lot of different things, but I'm really getting a sense of like a victim mentality, and I don't want that to trigger anybody or make anybody upset. But if you find yourself being triggered, or if you find yourself automatically moving to the defensive, or saying, I don't do that, or that isn't who I am, or things like that, there is a need to recognize whether or not you are saying that because it's true, or if you are saying that because you may be ashamed or feel guilty for being that person, or having those feelings or those thoughts, or those emotions. I really feel for group number two, there is a strong sense of feeling like ashamed of who you really are. um, and this doesn't make you abnormal. This doesn't put you in this box of being weird or anything like that. Everybody, every single person on this earth goes through these same motions, these same emotions and these same thought processes. They just happen in different ways and they are shown to us in different ways. And it's a choice for us to recognize that within ourselves and to heal it, or to live as if we don't do that, or as if that's not the truth. And group number 2, I really feel for you guys that there are parts of yourself that you haven't seen before that are coming to the surface, and there's a huge need for self-love and for self-care for you guys at this point in time, um, especially if you're going to face these things. If you are actively working on healing them, if you're actively working on, enlightening yourself and becoming more self-aware, which if you're at this video, you probably are, there is a need to be open, and a need for self-care here for you guys as you move through this healing process. Interesting. So let's go ahead, group number 2, and get into your reading. And we are going to start off with some tarot to look at the messages that your shadow has for you, or what your shadow wants you to see at this time. For group number 2, we have the 5 of elixirs. Yeah, and this is numbness. Group number 2, there is a sense of emotional numbness coming in here, an inability to see certain emotions or feel certain emotions or recognize that certain emotions are there. There's like a void emotionally here for you guys. Interesting. And then we have the Knight of Coins here. Okay, so I feel like group number 2, you guys may kind of have this fear of your own emotions. You may have this fear of becoming emotionally unstable. Some of you guys may have really struggled with depression or anxiety or anything like that in the past, and you may fear falling back into that. There's just something here about this fear of becoming unstable, either emotionally or mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever it is for you. Is this is a general reading, so that will be different for everybody, but this may be part of why you kind of block certain things out, because you're scared of how it may affect you if you actually face those things. And then it's perfectly okay, group number 2, if you don't feel like you're ready to face certain things, don't feel like you have to do it alone, or don't feel like you have to do it to prove a point. And for sure, if you feel like you need help or assistance, definitely seek out a mentor or a teacher or a counselor or a therapist or a psychologist or whatever it is that you need. Seek that out. We aren't here to do everything alone. We aren't here to have to do everything on our own, to have to figure everything out on our own. We're just not. That's not. The human race is meant to interact with each other. It's meant to, we're very social beings. So don't kind of close yourself off, group number 2. And then we have these 7 of coins coming out. So there is a need for patience and stability. There is a huge emphasis here on feeling like you're losing your footing, or feeling like you're becoming unstable here. Feeling like you can't move forward, because if you move forward, you're going to become unstable. And then we have the Ace of Blades coming out, group number 2. So there is clarity coming in, a clarity of the emotions that you aren't seeing, or for some of you, even the emotions that you are seeing or feeling, but not sure what they are or where they're coming from. There's clarity coming in. We have the 5 of Rods, which is group number 2. I feel like there's something here that like scarred you, scarred your spirit. There's like a new sense of truth or of wisdom trying to come in here for you guys, your higher self trying to come in here for you guys. What I feel is strong sense of heaviness, of feeling like you don't want to do this anymore, a strong sense of depression, of anxiety, of fearing your past and your future, and kind of just going through the motions at this point, feeling very numb, feeling very alone. I really feel for a lot of you guys that chose this pile, if this is resonating with you, definitely seek somebody out, whether it's a friend, a family member, a professional, whatever it is that you feel like you need. And don't allow your guilt or your shame to get in the way of seeking assistance. Then we have the Eight of Blades. Yeah, there is definitely a lot of restrictive energy here, holding yourself back, not allowing yourself to um, be free. There's a lot of mental energy here with the swords, a lot of emotional energy. There's emotional conflict here. There's conflict with the soul, with the spirit. I feel here you guys may be fighting through some. I almost feel for you guys that you're like resisting a purpose of some sort, and it's causing a lot of disturbance within your soul here. There's like soul disturbance here, group number 2. Um, we also have here the Nine of Rods, so there's some definitely that defensive energy that I was talking about. Being on the defense, automatically feeling like you have to be like, I don't do that, or that isn't me, or that isn't what I want, just automatically being like, no. And then we have the Three of Coins coming out here. Yeah, so a lot of you guys say no to any sort of collaboration or any sort of teamwork, or trust even. You guys may really struggle with trust, but I do see a renewed sense of trust or of truth coming in here that may allow you to connect to somebody, because that's really what I'm seeing here, is that there is a need for you guys to connect to somebody in some way, shape, or form in order to get out of this void. It's almost like you guys are in a void right now, or even in a dark night of the soul. Let's go ahead here and see the aspect of your shadow that is presenting itself for group number 2. We have Samaritan here. The light attribute refines your capacity to help those you would prefer to ignore. Shadow attribute, exacting appreciation and recognition for the help you offer. Yeah, there's a huge energy here of needing to accept help, to receive help in some way, shape, or form, or like really holding this idea of help like behind a stigma almost for group number 2, not allowing yourself to accept help because you feel ashamed or guilty for it. And it's almost like you project that into other people. If somebody else asks you for help in some way, shape, or form, it's like you hold them at the same level of shame that you hold yourself. And it's unconscious. It's not something you do on purpose or something that you, I feel, really even mean to do, but you do it by expecting something in return. You do it by expecting them to treat you better, or expecting them to put you up on this pedestal because you did something for them, whether you recognize that that's what you're doing or not, or expecting them to pay you, or expecting them to fix something for you. There's just some sort of expectation here because of your own inability to accept or seek the help that you need, group number 2. So let's go ahead and clarify this a little further for you guys. We have the Queen of Elixirs coming out here. Yeah, so there's like some sort of vanity or some sort of like becoming very entitled when you help somebody else or when somebody asks you for help. And this is because some of you guys, it's kind of like an ego thing. Not necessarily in like the typical overactive ego way, but it's a way that you guys cover up the fact that you need help yourself. And then we have the Magician coming out here. Okay. So you guys may be very self-sacrificial people where you can create and help for other people, but not for yourself. And your shadow really wants you to see that you give what you have within you, you create what you have within you. So if you are helping people from a place of shame or a place of guilt, or a place of depression or a place of grief, then really what you are creating in the long run for them is that same energy. Wow. Okay, so this is kind of a heavier, a heavier reading for group number 2. Just a very strong message here that if you feel like you are becoming unstable, or if there's a fear of becoming unstable that causes you to resist yourself, or to neglect yourself, or resist feeling your emotions, or resist seeking help because you're scared that you are going to become unstable, or somebody's going to tell you that you're unstable. um, there's really need to dive a little deeper into why that is, or why it is that you can't seek help, or why it is that that makes you feel so guilty or ashamed. Group number 2, let's go ahead here and see why the shadow is coming forth with these messages for you today. Group number 2, we have the Sphinx, silent wisdom. Okay, so group number 2, there is an emphasis on the knowledge that you are gaining from this period in your life, from this dark soul or this void that you're in, from this silencing of your emotions, really, is kind of how this is coming through. Like, there is a need to become aware of everything else, and that's why your emotions have been numbed out. Like, what is causing those emotions? What are you doing, or what energy are you involving yourself in or surrounding yourself with that causes you to feel this guilt or this shame? Group number 2. And then we also have joy and pleasure. Yeah. Your shadow is coming forth here because you don't allow yourself to feel joy or pleasure. You don't allow yourself to acknowledge that you want joy or pleasure out of a fear of being let down and this feeling like you don't deserve that. There is a big kind of emphasis here on like this orange and yellow. I'm really picking up on those colors, and I feel like this has a lot to do with like your sacral and solar plexus chakra here. Group number 2 as well, like healing those energies, healing from past relationships, healing the masculine and the inner child for a lot of you guys here, really working with the inner child and bringing back the excitement for life or the desire to live. There's something here where you guys, it's like there you've lost your will to live. So don't give up, group number 2. Really, don't give up. Um, Find something that brings you joy and allow yourself to indulge in that, really, because you do deserve that, group number 2. Let's go ahead here and pull some advice from spirit, from your shadow. Kind of guidance or advice does group number 2 need to see? We have the wild woman. Yeah, so really letting your emotions out, I feel, is going to be very beneficial for you guys. Allowing yourself to feel them, to let them out, to do something that causes you to physically express, either dancing or crying or some sort of physical movement or action that expresses your emotion in order to get this energy out of you, group number 2, because you're holding on to it. Subconsciously, I feel like you're holding on to all of these emotions, harboring them within you because you are ashamed of them, and you're scared of anybody else seeing it. But you need to express them so that you can let go of it, and so that you don't have to hold on to all of that energy within you. We also have here the crow. So there's a lot of spiritual energy here for you guys as well. So there's a need to trust that these emotions are here for a reason, and really dig into finding why they're here or what's making you feel them. There is an emphasis on this message as well for you guys. So really acknowledging that you have these emotions is very important for group number 2. Let's pull one more of these for you guys. Wow. Yeah, and then we have magic. So I really feel for you guys that you are being activated, initiated into, it's almost like you guys are going through an awakening, actually, at this point in time. It's causing you to be very uncomfortable. It's causing you to see yourself in a new way, causing you to expand and to stretch and to change. Because awakenings aren't they're not all fun and games. Like, that's not what this life and this lifestyle is about. The awakenings are usually very uncomfortable and usually very growth oriented. They cause you to go outside of your comfort zone. They cause you to see things about yourself that you never saw before, that may bring up the guilt and the shame and the feeling of unworthiness and things like this, group number 2. But I feel for you guys that it's pushing you into a period of purpose, of I feel like you guys are healers here, like spiritual healers or energy healers in some way, shape, or form. And you guys are being activated into the recognition of where your power is at. Okay, so by gaining this will to live again, by finding how to take your power back and how to not let your circumstances or your environment control you, by really allowing yourself to be in control of yourself and using your own personal will to pull yourself out of this dark night of the soul or out of this void, is going to show you a whole new level of your own personal willpower. There's something here with like your personal power, your willpower being activated for group number 2. Let's go ahead and pull you one final message from your shadow. Any last guidance or advice from your shadow for group number 2? Okay. And here we have, don't take anything personally. And this means like not allowing other people's opinions or other people's actions or thoughts or ideas have any control over your emotions or over your mental body, because it's not personal to you. It's personal to that person. Like anything that somebody thinks about you, that's personal to them, from their own experiences, from their own past, from their own insecurities and everything like that. It's not actually personal to you or even about you, really. And here this says, be immune to others' opinions, group number 2. And the message here says, what others say and do is a projection of their own reality, their own dream. When you are immune to others' opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. How perfect is that? As I said, coming into this, like there's this sense of victim mentality coming in here that is trying to be healed. So that is beautiful, group number 2. But this is what I'm seeing for you. If you enjoyed this reading, if it brought you value, or if it resonated with you, please hit that like button. Comment down below. Let me know how it resonated. Let me know if you chose this pile. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss out when I post future videos like this. I thank you guys so very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Hello, my beautiful group number 3. Those of you that chose the Universal Rider-Waite Tarot, this reading is for you. You guys also have this hematite point here. And coming into your reading, we are looking at what your shadow wants you to know, what messages from your shadow. And what is the shadow? Okay, the shadow is the parts of yourself that maybe you don't see or recognize or see clearly, the hidden aspects of yourself, or the parts of yourself that you hide away, the things that you do in darkness. All of these things can be brought together to kind of really fit into the umbrella of the shadow self. Group number 3, coming into your reading, there is a large sense of attraction and a sense of protection coming in for you guys, which is very interesting, especially after the last 2 readings that I have done. But there is like a huge sense of magnetism, and that is coming from this hematite point here. But there's a huge sense of magnetism, of drawing something in, as well as protection. Some of you guys here, you may be being held back from something as well, or you may feel like you're being held back from something. And I feel, if that resonates with you, that that's kind of that magnetism, the gravity of something is holding you back from either propelling forward or holding you back as a form of protection. And that is going to be different for everybody, as this is a general reading. But let's go ahead and get into your cards here and go into the kind of story that your shadow wants to talk about today for group number 3. Messages from your shadow, group number 3. Okay. We have the Queen of Pentacles, the Hermit. Yeah, you guys are definitely being held back from something here. Held back from money or resources for some of you guys. For some of you guys, you may be being held back from love or from connecting to somebody else. Really being pulled within yourself. Some of you guys may be feeling kind of lonely at this time as well. And then we have the Eight of Swords. Yeah, there's restriction. There's massive restriction here. Some of you guys, this has a lot to do with your self-worth and what you tell yourself that you deserve or don't deserve. Some of you guys are very blinded to the fact that you hold yourself back from anything that would cause you to break free from poverty or from a poverty mindset. There's something here, group number 3, where you guys really... I feel for you guys really that you hold yourself back in regards to a lot of new things or doing anything in a new way or in a different way because this is how it's always been done before, so you shouldn't stray away from that, when in reality that's kind of a defense mechanism to have to learn how to do something in a new way. And it's like this new way is going to bring you much more abundance and prosperity and love and nourishment, group number 3, but you're holding yourself back, okay? So there is like a poverty mindset coming in here. Some of you guys may be holding yourself back in regards to going after that dream job or learning a new skill, or allowing yourself to expand in your business or in your ideas for business. Some of you guys that have your own business that is up and running, it may be time to hire somebody, and you may be kind of pulling back from that idea out of fear of learning how to be a boss or how to be assertive or how to set rules or boundaries or anything like that as well. Interesting. Group number 3, what messages does your shadow have for you? Wow, and then we have the High Priestess coming out here. Yeah, so you guys are really fearing stepping into the unknown at this point in time. And we have the Queen of Wands. There's a lot of feminine energy coming out of this pile here. There's something here, group number 3, where you're being asked to recognize where the grief or the despair or the fear or even aggression or anger is at, to allow yourself to mourn whatever it is that you're leaving behind and then move forward. Interesting. So some of you guys, it's like you're stepping out of an old contract into a new one, and that's going to apply differently for a lot of different people. But our last 2 cards that came out here, we have the Wheel of Fortune and the Page of Wands. So it's like you guys are stepping into a new cycle of creation here. Learning how to create in a new way or learning how to create something new altogether. But this feels very major for group number 3, especially with 3 major arcanas and 3 court cards here. This is a very major kind of turning point, I feel, for you in your career or in your relationships, depending on how this resonates for you. But there is something here where you are being asked to step into the unknown and you are holding yourself back. As a form of protection, or telling yourself that you need to be protected from the things that you don't understand or that you aren't fully aware of yet, group number 3. And I don't feel like this is the case, and I feel like this is why your shadow is coming forth to say, hey, you know, the unknown can be scary, the shadow can be scary, but it's only scary until you do it. It's only scary to face when you don't understand it fully. It's only scary when we've never done it before. So when you start doing it, when you take that step, when you go out into the darkness, you're going to light it up as you walk. You're going to light that path up as you walk with your lantern, group number 3. There's a need to step outside of this barrier that you are hiding behind as a form of protection. It's time to expand. Group number 3, it is time to expand, whether this is in your job and career or in a business that you're trying to build or that you have, or if this is in relationships, it's like it's time to take the next step. There are like contracts here is kind of how I'm feeling. Like, what are you committed to? It's time to expand in those areas, group number 3. Wow. This is a very different reading from the last 2, and I really like this. I like this energy. I like that your shadows coming forth here, group number 3, and telling you it's time to grow. Just because you don't understand it or you're not fully aware of it doesn't mean you should avoid it. Okay, so let's go ahead here and see the aspect of your shadow that's coming forth for you at this time, group number 3. Okay, so we have here, wow, the teacher, light attribute, ability to communicate knowledge, experience, skill, or wisdom. Shadow attributes, manipulating or abusing students, teaching negative traits, and destructive skills. Group number 3, there's something here where you are being asked to learn how to do something differently, to learn how to do something, or to learn how to create something. There's a huge emphasis here on learning something new or stepping into the unknown, learning how to expand your knowledge, your wisdom, your path, your purpose in some way, shape, or form, expanding your mind in order to then expand your environment. Wow. So that's awesome. Let's go ahead and clarify this a little bit here for group number 3. Let's clarify this teacher energy for group number 3. We have the 9 of Swords coming out and the 10 of Swords coming out. Wow. Yeah, so there's definitely an emphasis on the mental body here and a need to expand the mental body here in order to achieve some sort of abundance or prosperity that you guys have been trying to attract to you, okay? It's time to learn a new skill or to learn how to do something differently. With the 9 and the 10 of Swords here, this is telling me you guys are entering like the end of this cycle. Again, we have the Wheel of Fortune, the end of this contract. Some of you guys are really anxious or nervous about trying something new, and that may be something that you really need to work with. Some of you guys are very, it's almost like you're procrastination may be an issue for some of you guys. You may avoid having to learn new things or avoid having to see the truth about certain energies by telling yourself that there's so many other things that you have to do or that you don't have time. Convincing yourself it's like some sort of mental pattern that you guys are being asked to break free from in order to expand the mental body here. We have the 8, the 9, and the 10 of Swords. So you guys are definitely like achieving closure. And it's always the hardest at the end of the cycle. It's always the hardest to complete something, right? So you guys may have a habit of like starting something and not following through with certain things when it comes to your knowledge or expanding in your own personal life or your relationships. There's like commitment issues here. Group number 3 that you guys are being asked to address, to face, to recognize for what they are in order to expand and grow. Wow. So you guys may really see a lot of these commitment issues or this inability to see things all the way through. You may really connect those or project those onto other people or make a lot of excuses as to why you couldn't finish this, or this person needed this, or this person needed that, or this person did this, so I couldn't do this. There's a lot of this kind of energy going on here, and you guys are at a kind of point in your journey where you're going to be recognizing that it was you that was holding yourself back, and in that recognition you are going to be able to step out of that restriction and into expansion. So big expansions coming in for group number 3. Let's go ahead here and see why these messages are coming forth from your shadow for group number 3. Why are these messages coming forth from the shadow, group number 3? We have creative power coming forth. Yes, I love that. You guys are definitely stepping into a creative period, a period of creating something. And then we have the Nile River, flow of abundance. Yeah, you guys are attracting and creating some sort of abundance, prosperity, resources, or you have been seeking a lot of them. And it's almost like you've hit a wall. You guys are breaking through that wall, breakthrough energy here. In order to continue manifesting, in order to continue drawing in this abundance here. Wow, creating this abundance here. by expanding, by learning something new, by doing something a new way, by stepping into the unknown, stepping outside of your comfort zone, group number 3. You guys may really have a hard time with that. You may also have a really hard time with following through, as I said. So those of you that resonates with, there's a need to keep pushing, a need to keep going instead of becoming more and more distracted. You guys may be becoming more and more distracted as the days go on, being pulled further and further away from what it is you're working towards, and there's a need to readjust to get back on track. And for some of you guys, there's just a need to step outside of the way that you've always done things. Some of you guys, there's a need to go back to school or to learn a new skill or to expand on your skill set, to hire somebody in to really expand. And I feel for a lot of you guys, this expansion is going to have a lot to do with the physical world. It's going to be something tangible, like a tangible expansion, even if it's learning a new skill. So expanding your mental body, it's like this, it's a physical skill. It's something that you create or something that you build or that you write. It's bringing something into the physical reality here. So some guidance and advice here from your shadow. We have the vision quest. Yeah, so there is a huge need to get in alignment with your vision here, or to get back into alignment, or to continue moving towards your goals here, group number 3, in a very big way. This seems very significant, group number 3. And then we have the giveaway coming out here for you guys. So there is a need for you guys to really let go of control. Stop trying to control the journey. Stop trying to control the actions that you have to take to get to your desired outcome, because you cannot. Keep the outcome that you're looking for in your vision, you know, the finish line, the goal, and allow yourself to work towards that in any way that you're being called to work towards that, instead of trying to control the steps that lead you there. Because when you start controlling the steps that lead you there, you start changing the destination, right? Let's pull one more of these guidance and advice for group number 3 from the shadow. Guidance and advice from the shadow for group number 3. We have the Sweat Lodge, and this is very much so speaking to me of this hermit energy up here. There is a need for detox for some of you guys, for really kind of sweating out this restrictive energy. There's there's an inner journey happening here for group number 3 that you need to allow yourself to step into. Okay, we have the High Priestess, the Hermit, the Vision Quest, the Sweat Lodge. You guys are being led to a place within yourself that's going to allow you to unlock your creative power and your abundance. By learning something new about yourself. And look at this teacher energy here. She has the world broke open with all of these smaller worlds within. You guys are being asked to go within and to learn about these smaller worlds, to gain knowledge and skills about yourself, and how to move forward and what you are capable of and what it is that you truly desire, group number 3. Wow. So let's go ahead and pull you one final message here from your shadow. One final message for group number 3. Okay. And here on the front of the card, we have always do your best. And this here says, do your best because you want to. Okay, not because you feel like you're being forced, or because you feel like you have to, or because you feel like you have to do it this way in order to get to your goal, but do what it is that you feel called to do. Do what you want to. Do the best because you want to. And if you don't want to do your best, chances are whatever it is that you're trying to do there is a distraction from where you're supposed to be. And the back of this card here says, you do your best when you are enjoying the action or doing it in a way that will not have negative repercussions for you. You do your best because you want to do it, not because you have to do it, not because you are trying to please the judge, and not because you are trying to please other people. So very significant message there for group number 3. But this is what I'm seeing for my beautiful souls here. If you enjoyed this reading or if it resonated with you, if it brought you value, please hit that like button, comment down below, let me know how it resonated, let me know if you chose this pile. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss out when I post future videos like this. I thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.